Sure. Please stand. Your right hand over your heart and ready to begin. With pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
I'll start with the Camarillo Authority. Supervisor Kelly Long has been excused. Supervisor Vianney Lopez.
Here.
Mayor Susan Santangelo has been excused. Councilmember Martita Martinez Bravo
Here.
and Chair Scott Bear. Here. And for Oxnard, we have Supervisor Kelly Long has been excused. Supervisor Vice Chair Vianney Lopez.
Here.
Councilmember Bert Perello. Thank you. Councilmember Gabe Teran.
Here.
And Chair Eugene Fussell. Here. Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay, first item.
We do have one agenda change that we will, due to a clerical error, handle the approval of the minutes, which is item 4, and we'll table that with your concurrence of both chairs. Does that apply to both? It did, yes. It applied to both bodies. Yes, we would table that to the next meeting we schedule.
We do have one speaker card. If you wish, the speaker card reads, if you wish to address the commission/authority, please complete this card and place in the speaker card box. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less.
And we have Bill Thomas from Wings Over Camarillo.
Oh.
Thank you. Okay,
Go ahead.
all right. So this is just a higher view of where we are with the air show. As everybody knows, we had a really good Saturday air show. Weather was great performances, safe, exciting. Unfortunately, one-day air show was an awful lot of work from an awful lot of people for one day. We started tracking the hurricane Wednesday or Thursday. It looked like it started to get serious. Still looked pretty good until somewhere between Friday night and Saturday morning, and it decided to go west instead of east. And by 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, they issued the tropical alert with 40 to 50 knot wind, 2 to 3 inches of rain in Camarillo anticipated. So we went ahead and made the decision mid-afternoon that we're going to go ahead and cancel Sunday. We had several, probably half the performers, especially the ones out of town, all said at the end of our act, we're going home. We had pre-planned with some of the FBOs to put the warbirds into hangars in case the hurricane really did materialize and they got stuck in Camarillo. So it was a great job overall from the community at Camarillo Airport. So looking back, not very far, Burning Man proved that we made the right decision and it was timely. All of our parking lots, the majority that had the most people, were all dirt parking lots. And the concept of having 2 to 3 inches of water and mud and having people not be able to get out that could have been the total choice there, but we looked at safety and a lot of other things. Anyway, everybody pretty much was picked up and gone by Saturday night. It was amazing. There were very few things still on the ground. Sunday morning, I came out to wish the F-18 and the Army H-60 folks goodbye. There was nobody else around. It was amazing. The tickets for Sunday have 2 choices. Some of the people came on Saturday because we pre-alerted them and said, if you want to come on Saturday with your Sunday ticket, if they're a GA ticket, you can do it. The chalet tickets, they can either be refunded by 30 September or be used next year if they decide that they want to do that. It's sort of humorous because I think I bought 7 chalet tickets all for Sunday. Our attendance for Saturday was about 9,500, which normally would have been really great, but in 2020, last year, we had 22,000 total and they were split pretty much 10,000 each day. So probably a little less. And we're guessing that combination of the weather forecast and the Point Mugu Air Show cut into the
Pardon, I just want to make sure that the chairs recognize the time has expired. Would you like to extend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyway, we're doing our lessons learned now. We'll probably start planning again by November. We're trying to seriously get the Navy and Naval Base Ventura County to take a look at doing a 2-year Camarillo, 1-year Point Mugu, try to keep it on the same date, like the 3rd weekend in August, and try to focus our high performance airplane performance demonstrations at the Point Mugu one and the civil warbirds and some jets that and certainly for static display at Camarillo, but that's a function more of the Navy and the region that controls the air show part of it than Wings Over Camarillo. So we'll see. But anyway, if you recall, in 2022, we donated $130,000 to our nonprofit support organizations that help the air show. And we just don't know what we're going to have, if any, for this year. So any questions? I know I'm past my time. I'm sorry. The number of volunteers, we figure that we have probably 20 to 40 that work pretty close to year round on the organization part of it. And for the weekend of the air show, it's probably about 400. So it's a lot of work. So anyway, I think that later on, there'll be a more complete wrap up, but I thought that you all deserve to at least hear what happened through my eyes anyway.
Thanks, Mr. Thomas, very much.
Chair, I would like to acknowledge that Councilmember Perrello has joined us. So he's on the panel. So thank you and welcome. And let me just read out this one piece here and then we'll wait for a moment to see if others join on Zoom and wish to make a comment. And then we can continue. Is that all right? Okay. For those joining remotely, if you'd like to be added to the public comment queue, please be connected via Zoom. If not already connected and wish to make a public comment, you can find the Zoom link on the first page of the meeting agenda, which can be found at vcairports.org/meeting-calendar. If you wish to make a public comment on agenda item 5, which is our current agenda item, please press the raise hand button now, or if you're calling in today, please press star, then 9 to be added to the speaker queue. Public comments may be submitted in writing by email or mail. Public comments submitted in writing are public record and subject to disclosure. Please do not submit personal contact information you do not want to be made public. Comments will be made a part of the permanent meeting record upon approval of the meeting minutes. And then we'll just give a minute to see if others join. Josh, has anybody raised their hand now? There are no public comments, so at your discretion, we can move on.
Good evening, chairs Bear and Fussell. I looked at the opposite folks, so sorry about that. I am here tonight to update everyone on the 3 planning studies that we have underway. And, oh, I'm sorry. That was last night's first item. I apologize. I am actually here, as you mentioned, to present on the Oxnard Taxway Connectors Alpha through Echo reconstruction project. So I'm happy to say, as of last night, have completed the project. Go ahead to the next slide. I just wanted to show a few of the new signs that we have. As you may recall, we actually renamed all the taxiways, all 6 taxiways that we have at the airport are now Alpha as parallel taxiway Foxtrot, and then Alpha 1 through 5 for the connector taxiways. Just a couple project highlights. We did complete substantially August 15th. Last night, we were just wrapping up the final striping and grooving that needed to take place after the pavement had time to cure. I showed you that the newly renamed taxiways. And then I also wanted to report that, as we had promised, we finished also consolidating the stockpiles over on the 11-acre parcel that the county airport owns adjacent to the airport. And we're happy to have the piles consolidated and covered, and we'll be monitoring that and scheduling testing as soon as we're able to move a contract forward. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them about the project.
Thank you. And thank you for the update. Just so we could state it in case anyone's watching this and would like more information, who can folks reach out to if they'd like additional information about the soil consolidation and next steps on that?
I would just recommend that they go to our website. We have our contacts for staff. They can call the general number and be directed. Additionally, on our website, we have several press releases that we've done about the stockpiling operations and what our plans are.
Thank you. And Would you mind sharing the website and kind of the main phone number for the department here?
So I can definitely do, it's bcairports.org. But the main phone number is 805-388-4372. I always mix up the numbers.
That's okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Powers. Are you going to do the next one also?
You have me up here 2 more times. I mean, in sequence. Yes, so we, as you may have heard before, there's a saying in aviation infrastructure that you work from the runway out. And that is exactly what we've been doing at Oxnard Airport. So it's exciting that we're at the end of a 3-year, we're entering our 3rd year of this project that we began back in 2021. If we could go to the next slide. So the final, the first phase in 2021 that we accomplished was the runway reconstruction. And when we first designed and did that project, we had worked closely with the FAA, and they had indicated that there may be funding available to do all 3 projects at one time, because there's also efficiencies of scale, and there was potential for funding as they saw things shaping up. So that, and we worked closely with them in aligning our projects. So that's exactly what we did, is we went out for bid, and in the end, the FAA was unable to fund the project as a whole, and we've ended up funding the total package over 3 years. So first 2021, the runway, 2022, the taxiway connectors, and here in 2023, before you tonight is a contract award for the reconstruction of taxiway Foxtrot, which is now renamed Alpha. I'm using both because the FAA, even though we've had the transition to the renaming, our grants and our approvals are all under the taxiway Foxtrot name since at the time they were. So I'm trying to make sure I cover both elements. I did want to share that the FAA has already provided us with the first of 2 grants to help fund this project, and Caltrans has sent us actually the grant offer, and we are working on our acceptance. The grant offers are based on bid, and now the final piece is to award the construction contract and schedule the work. We did receive 3 bids on this project. The bid that was considered the low responsive and responsible bid was 7.57% over our engineer's estimate. And we believe that the bid reflects the value of work to be done in the current climate. And that price, though, is a big number, where the contract for the contractor is a little over $17.3 million. And we feel fortunate that even in this climate that we are able to secure the funding to be able to move forward with the critical infrastructure. The company that the contract that we're requesting this project be awarded to is Security Paving Company, which is a local county contractor based out of Thousand Oaks, Westlake area. And we have reviewed the bid for form, and everything has been in order. And with that, staff is requesting that your authority recommend the Board of Supervisors award a contract to Pavement Security Company in the amount of the bid. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
My lawyer
So that's a standard language that is in every contract approval. Essentially, when you receive bids, there are bid irregularities, meaning they didn't add up the numbers correctly in the bid that are allowed to be corrected by public contract code. And then there's also other, those are the type of irregularities that we're talking about, is minor ones that don't create a legal issue for accepting the bid. And I apologize, I do actually have one more slide on this project. If we could go- Yes. We did, just as a reminder, I know this project has come up multiple times over the years, but as a refresher, this is the final phase of the runway taxiway improvements. The project is going to be, actually, the construction phasing, is going to be done over, broken up into 3 phases. From start to finish, it will be continuous, but we will work on one area at a time that still allows aircraft operations, normal aircraft operations, or at least the runway to be open, and there'll just be rerouting for taxiways. There is some limited runway closure with a few overnights, but most of the work is going to be conducted during the daytime. We also, as part of this project, will be the taxiway Foxtrot will be shifting south 40 feet to meet FAA standards for separations between the runway center line and the taxiway center line. And one impact of that is that the drive lane will disappear at Oxnard Airport. We are unable to accommodate a drive lane that meets FAA standards once the taxiway shifts, because we don't own all the land that would be needed to have a sufficient drive lane.
Excuse me, would that encroach upon the hangars, be closer to the hangars by 40 feet?
So yes, the taxiway edge will be closer by 40 feet. So the fuel trucks will need to contact the tower if they're going to be accessing a movement area.
So that will become a movement area, then we'll have to contact ground.
And right, and what you're really talking about is the impact is heaviest in terms of fueling to the executive hangars west on the west end of the airport. They'll still have access via the Victoria Gate, but they won't be able to go across the airfield to visit other sites within the airfield. They would have to exit and access from the street side off of it. Yes.
Can you go back to a previous slide and use PowerPoint? I'm a non-pilot. I don't know my way around the airport.
Sure.
Show me what you're talking about, what's being done, what's not going to be done, who can drive where, who can't drive where, please.
Okay. So the approximate area of the reconstruction is highlighted in blue. The executive hangar, so the taxiway center line, which is approximately, here, there's a lot of pavement between the current taxiway edge and the existing aprons that are south of it. So right now, there currently is a drive lane along the on the north side of it. I'm sorry, it's the south side of this taxiway, but there'll still be space for driving. We just aren't going to have a designated, designated drive lane. So pilots or people who access the airfield take an annual exam, or it's not annual anymore, I'm sorry. They take a driver's test to verify their understanding of airfield markings, and all pilots understand that taxiway edge lines and what those look like. and that they're a movement area that you're not supposed to cross without permission. The biggest impact is really, this is the Executive Hangars West. They access the airfield mainly from the Victoria Gate. And where Dr. Fussell is talking about, when he's talking about access, is there's this section right here where we do not own the property south this area. And so we cannot take, you can see that the taxway Foxtrot work abuts, but there won't be sufficient room for any vehicles to to drive around without contacting the tower and having permission to enter a movement area. So we'll be in this, we will be encouraging the Executive Hangars West folks to access the rest of the airfield if they need to from Fifth Street, where we have multiple gates. And we will be having at the, before the project is completed and this issue, this is in place, we will be adding signage with instructions.
Thank you.
Yes.
The last question, sort of a follow-up from the attorney that asked the question. Minor changes.
Yes.
The minor change total, they made a mistake in addition or subtraction, came out higher or lower in the competitive bid. When is the opportunity to change the numbers? After the bids are open?
Yes. So there are allowed, there's an order of I'm going to call precedence for when you submit a bid, there is there's unit prices, there's the quantity. The contractor is required to spell out the total, and then they also fill in the total in numbers. So they do it in words, they do it in numbers. And the bid instructions call out the proper way for authority should something be which one will control. And so we're allowed to follow, to make corrections within the bidding instructions, following the bidding instructions. And in this case, so I believe I'd have to look, the packet actually does include the bid tabulations for all three. So all that information is available publicly. It's part of the package that we prepare. But I believe Security Paving may have had a completely clean bid, not requiring any adjustments. But even if they did, it would have been, it was nothing of significance.
So it wouldn't alter them not talking security.
Sure,
This gentleman and I put our bids.
right.
I can't add or subtract and I make a mistake.
No,
But it turns out my number that I wanted is actually lower than the winning bid, one of the other two gentlemen. I can point that out and you verify the numbers. I get the bid.
well, we review all bids and we go through them with a fine tooth comb. And based on the bidding instructions that allow our review to make the adjustments. If it doesn't disqualify the bid, then yes, we can make the adjustment. And theoretically, if the bid, what if the correction that is allowed within the bidder's instructions occurred and it actually changed who the low bidder was, then we would be allowed to do that. Now, I would say that you would expect that you may have a bid protest in that, and you would have to go through the exercise of working through that. But in this case, we don't.
Thank you. Last question. With respect to the soil that is piled up on the other side of Ventura Road.
Yes.
And the testing is apparent. My understanding is, I'm going with my understanding is from the airport. There's testing to determine if there's any problems with that soil, that it can be placed somewhere else. The process of testing, the process of potentially moving and wherever, is that going to be a separate bid or is that in this bid package?
No, I do want to, you do bring up a good point. So the 11 acres is going to be a completely separate process. So we're going to separate from this project because that soil is not from this project. It's from the project we're just finishing up. We are going to test the soil and then dispose of things appropriately. or handle it appropriately. For taxiway Foxtrot, we actually face potentially the same issue, which is we're excavating some level of soil. Now, the first thing that we did as we learned our lesson from the change in the water board was that we, during the taxiway connector project, we actually worked with our engineers to be able to leave more soil in place and excavate less. So the taxiway connector project had anticipated that we would have a little over 6,000 cubic yards of soil stored potentially at the 11-acre site. I believe we're closer to 4,000. We were able to reduce that and reduce the trucking. So we have employed those same techniques in our cross section for the taxiway Foxtrot project. But one thing that we're doing differently is we are working with the water board to get approval to test the soil in place right now ahead of construction to determine if is any PFAS issue. If there's not, the bid allows us to directly remove the excess soil and not have to store it anywhere. However, we also have in the bid the contingency that if we did need to, if there was some level of PFAS, and for us, we're actually looking for a 0 PFAS level versus the levels that we have detected in the soil have been very, very, very small, but it's there. So if we have any soil where PFAS, we will end up storing like we are at the moment for taxiway Foxtrot, but we will have information about it. And we are not going to add that excavated soil over onto the 11-acre site. We are going to store it within the airport premises of the proper airport, because the 11-acre site is airport property, but it's not what we're going to do it within the airfield fence line.
Thank you very much for your explanation.
Thank you. Just a really quick question on this. Thank you for the update on this. Looking at when construction is looking to commence, now that these bids have been put in and it's on an item before us to go to the Board of Supervisors, I'm hoping that whenever construction is about to begin, would we plan as a department to put out media releases that could be shared with the community, just so that folks who live near there can be either reminded or be informed that they can expect to see construction happening. As you mentioned, much of it will be during the day. I'd hope that maybe we could do other special releases for when we anticipate nighttime work to happen as well.
Absolutely. The nighttime work is generally going to be pretty limited, so we can include the information in the same press release. We will share once we are able to determine a schedule. And just so you know, the project is bid to begin sometime after January 1st of 2024. But we will, once we're under contract, that's when we will actually work with the contractor to approve a schedule. And once we have an approved schedule, we'll be able to share that information with the public.
Great, thank you. And if we have a full schedule, even better. Thank you. Are you looking for a motion, Chair? Oh, I'll move to receive and file for item 6A.
I'm sorry, Chair Fussell. It is not a receive and file. I'm actually looking to move the recommendations for approval of the contract. And I believe that there are several, I'm sorry, I don't actually have the number in front of me.
Aaron, I think they were going to go backwards and hit A first and then.
Oh, I apologize.
You
We
both
moved.
vote A and B, so we were voting A.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
And this is the meeting last night. This is the meeting last night. Apparently there's no vote. Was there an explanation for the no vote?
Yes, so we have Commissioner Tannehill. It was 4-1, and Commissioner Tannehill is, he believes that the cost is too high, and that we should wait for construction costs to come down.
Thank you. Thank you. That's my only question.
I'll do the roll for 6A.
Yes.
For Oxnard Authority, Chair Fussell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Burt Perello,
Yes.
and Councilmember Gabe Teran.
Yes.
The motion for 6A passes unanimously.
Okay. Now for 6D. I won't reread all of that, but the power schedule for discussing that and questions on it, we better to vote on 6D.
Do we have any speakers on this item?
Again?
Do we have speakers?
Oh,
Yeah.
we have a speaker?
No public comments at this
No
time.
public comments? Sorry. Okay, we're ready for it.
In that case, I will go ahead and motion for the recommended actions.
Second.
Okay, so motion second. Can we get a roll call?
For Oxnard Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Burt Perello,
Yes.
Councilmember Gabe Teran,
Yes.
and Chair Eugene Fussell. The motion passes unanimously for item 6B.
This will be my last item for the night unless you have any other questions. I am happy to be before you this evening to just give you a very brief update on the 3 planning studies that are underway. Having deja vu since that's where I started and I was incorrect with that. So starting with the Camarillo and Oxnard Airport planning study. We're going to start with the noise studies. So we're excited to be sharing via social media, advertisements in the VC Star, and also Camarillo and Thousand Oaks editions of the Acorn, the next public meeting dates. So they have been set for towards the end of September. The Oxnard Airport noise study will be held on September 25th. 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and it's going to be held at the Oxnard Performing Arts Center. And for Camarillo, the noise study will be held the following day on the 26th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and will be here in Camarillo at the Ventura County Office of Education Conference and Educational Services Center. The meetings are going to follow a very similar format to what we did in the first round. And we will also be ahead of the meetings sharing the new chapter information, and it will be available in English and Spanish so that folks, before they come to the meeting, will have the opportunity, if they wish, to review some of the materials that will be available on our study websites and be able to ask even more questions if they have them. When they do come to the public meeting. And live interpretation in Mixteco and Spanish will be available at the meetings. I would just, as one more note, that the next chapters are going to wrap up the first half of the study, which is focused on the noise exposure maps. So we're going to have a chapter about the sharing the exposure map, the noise exposure maps, and then a chapter about that, the analysis of the noise impacts. So I think this will be a place for everyone to learn about how the forecasting that we previously have talked about and shared is incorporated into this, along with the noise monitoring and the modeling, which is an FAA requirement for actually setting the maps themselves. And then from there, once we are able to share the maps through these public meetings, we'll be able to move into the next phase, which is the NCP, or the noise compatibility plan. And that's really where the focus for talking about ideas to deal with noise impacts is going to take place. So we're going to share what the FAA requires us to do, which is analyze the noise impacts based on their criteria. And then we're going to, after that, be able to move into the next phase, which will be focused on how we can work with the community on those noise impacts to see if we can make things better. Are there any questions about the noise studies before I move on to the ALP update?
You've done a great job putting in the newspaper.
Ms. Powers, if I can ask, the study materials will be posted online before the public meetings, or will they be available after?
They're going to be available before.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to see if I had an exact date, but I don't know. We're finalizing translation. All right. We can move on to the next slide, please. So this is very, very brief. A lot of our focus has been on moving the noise since it's coming up this month. But we also have been working on material development for the Camarillo Airport Layout Plan Update, or ALP for short. We have tentatively identified November 14th as our target date for holding the next meeting. So we're getting that information out there. We still need a secure location, so that's why it's tentative. But we are working to that date, and we believe it's going to be a one that we'll be able to confirm soon. And once we are, we'll be doing the same type of advertising campaign in publications, as well as social media and email blasts to interest lists. And then the chapters, we will also have the next chapters that have been under development, which focus partly on the facility requirements and the near-term projects. Those will be available ahead of the meeting as well. All right, so I'm ready for any questions, or not.
No public comment.
Okay, then I guess on behalf of the Camarillo.
Second.
Motion and second, we'll get a roll call.
For Camarillo Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Martina Martinez Bravo,
Yes.
and Chair Scott Bear.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Okay, for Oxnard, sorry.
Second.
The motion is second. After the call, roll call.
For Oxnard Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bert Perello, Councilmember Gabe Turan,
Yes.
and Chair Eugene Fussell. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Good evening to you all. The County of Ventura Department of Airports was established in 1976 and manages Camarillo Airport and Oxnard Airport. Together, these airports provide vital connections to the national airspace system and are home to many businesses and individual aircraft owners, all of whom contribute to the economic vitality of Ventura County or serve as philanthropic contributors through a variety of nonprofit organizations. Such contributions are often made without knowledge to the general public. International, national, and locally based organizations such as Pilots and Paws, Angel Flight, Lighthawk, Ventura County 99s, Experimental Aircraft Association, and more are heroes in local aviation. We are proud to begin a series highlighting these unsung heroes through periodic short feature stories designed to not only put a spotlight on those who tirelessly serve the community, but to also help educate the community about a portion of local aviation that is often overlooked. Tonight, I eagerly share our first story, focusing on Barb Filkins' work with Lighthawk, and Barb is here this evening. Little embarrassed over there. So I think you have a picture of Barb. There we go. So this is Barb with her Cessna 172. Chances are that when most Ventura County residents think of Oxnard Airport, they think of current operations made up mostly of flight training and businesses, including Golden West Jet Center, Aspen Helicopters, and California Aeronautical University. Mixed in are likely memories of when the airport's terminal was bustling with commercial travelers heading to distant destinations, and of the critical part the airport played in the Army Air Corps and Navy during World War II. What many arguably don't know is that our Oxnard Airport's role extends well beyond traditional airport operations and into the realm of national nonprofit organizations that focus on environmental conservation, life-changing flights to medical appointments, and animal rescue and sheltering, all made possible by locally based pilots who volunteer their time, fuel, and planes to conduct missions aimed at making a difference. Among those pilots is Barb Filkins, a Ventura County resident based at Oxnard Airport. Of the many hats she wears, literally and figuratively, there is one that bears the image of the Channel Islands fox. In 2020, just as the COVID-19 pandemic was worsening, Filkins became a volunteer pilot for Lighthawk, an aviation-focused nonprofit organization that operates nationally with the goal of contributing to nature conservation efforts. It was a new challenge, Filkins said, and their mission is fitting for me. For 3 years, Filkins has flown regular missions for Lighthawk, a partner of the Nature Conservancy, conducting missions over the Channel Islands Fox Count. She flies her Cessna 172 over each of the islands, with the exception of Anacapa Island, where the foxes do not live. Accompanied by scientists from the Nature Conservancy and California Institute of Environment Studies, Filkins flies at 3,500 to 4,500 feet above sea level as scientists use the transmissions from the antenna attached to the plane to communicate with the callers warned by each of the endangered foxes. Those transmissions allow scientists to determine movement and overall activity levels of the fox population during each of the monthly missions. Filkins will soon add to her Lighthawk resume with missions for the California condor count as part of a partnership with the Santa Barbara Zoo. She will use the same plane but a different antenna that will communicate with tags that are glued to the feathers of each condor. This will be a unique challenge, Filkins said. You'd think it would be simple because we are looking for just 5 or 6 condors at a time, but they can fly up to 300 miles a day, making it difficult to find them. Their flight range will be from Ventura County to Yosemite. I'd like to extend my gratitude to Barb for sharing her story. And again, this is the beginning, the debut of a series of several stories that will feature just these unique experiences that so many of our locally based pilots have in these wonderful missions that they volunteer for. So this story and all stories that will be part of this series will be available on our website and are shared on social media. So this story is on our website now, and it is also shared on social media as of now. So any questions or comments? Yes, that is very true. I've only been here a year, but what I've gotten to know about Barb in that year is pretty phenomenal. She is heavily involved in a lot of different nonprofit organizations and just really giving back to the community, and it's pretty phenomenal.
If I can add, yeah, thank you, Barb, and definitely a round of applause for you. And really glad to see this starting with Barb and setting a very high standard for those that will follow. But I think that's a part of, being involved is challenging others to step up and do the same, if not more. So thank you for all that you do for our community here, especially at the Oxnard Airport.
Thank you. First of all, I'm really excited that you're going to be highlighting different folks on here. Many times we only hear some negative comments, so it's really wonderful to hear, some of the positive things that are happening in our community. And to Barb, just thank you so much. I know that the work that you do comes from your heart and doesn't come, as a way to get recognition. But I really do appreciate, and I know the city of Camarillo appreciates all the hard work that goes into volunteering for our community and really making this county a better place by every person's love. So thank you.
I don't know the lady, I've seen you here in front of that, Ms. Wilkins, but in my opinion, this is the kind of stuff that we need to push to get in the newspaper. Because there's, as one of the board members has said, there's a lot of people that hammer the private pilots, environmental, light, lead, gasoline, all kinds of scare tactics. This is tremendous. And being one of two city councilmen here representing our city and county, we have some people in our community that really look at it. They don't know the things that you're doing. This will change a lot of minds. This will change a lot of minds. A couple of questions. I hope. And I'm asking this because there are volunteers that work in the Channel Islands Harbor doing water sampling on their own time. They don't get gas money, they don't get coffee, they don't get anything. I hope somebody, the price of gasoline today, is reimbursing you for your fuel. I'm not asking a question, that's a hope. The second is, you mentioned all the islands that you fly. They mentioned that you don't fly over Anacapa because there's no foxes. Are there foxes on San Nicolas? And because it's tremendous. This kind of stuff, this sounds exciting. This sounds exciting. That'd be fun to do that kind of stuff. Are you, when you're flying by yourself? So there's nobody else.
Yeah, she has a data scientist with her from the
Oh,
Nature
okay.
Conservancy or California. What is? All right. Santa Barbara Zoo is going to be going for the condor count, but also the California Institute of Environment Studies.
And again, to the cost. If you're not being reimbursed for the gasoline, I know what it costs me to fill my car. I will promise you right now, Rick Carroll, I'm making you a promise. You tell me where I need to go and ask that you get reimbursed if you're not being. I don't need an answer, but I will. This kind of stuff counts. And for the public relations person, this stuff needs to be in the star. This stuff needs to be in the star. The LA Times would be good too.
Thank you. I will, as far as Barb's work, the last meeting that we had, we shared a map related to Fly Friendly BC and just the work and examples of what an ideal flight pattern is for Fly Friendly BC, and that was made possible because Barb volunteered her time and her plane and her fuel to make that map possible. So she's dedicated on all levels to improving the airports. Thank you all.
We have no comments at this time.
Okay, on behalf of the Camarillo Authority, can we get a
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
motion in a second?
The roll for Camarillo Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Martita Martinez Bravo,
Here.
and Chair Scott Bear.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Okay, so Oxnard, third, to receive the, I'll make the motion, but I'd like to put an amendment. You take presentation, we just had, and we make sure it gets to the. You bet. That's it. And it gets-
I'm sorry, was that Councilmember Tehran, the second?
Chair
Oh, sorry, so sorry about that. I can't see over the podium. For the roll, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bert Perello, Councilmember Gabe Tehran,
Yes.
Chair Eugene Fussell, and the motion passes unanimously with the addition to forward to the newspaper.
Thank you, Chair. This is going to follow the rules of 3Bs. Be brief and be brilliant and be finished. So we're going to just talk about the payment portal really quickly. Next slide. So we do have a way to do e-pays now for paying hangar and rents on taxi tie downs, et cetera. It's easy to set up an online account. We can view all the outstanding payments that are owed, effortless payment process, multiple payments. You have to start with the oldest. If you have a balance, any money you put in has to go against the oldest balance first. We can use credit cards and e-checks, and it's safe. It's an industry standard payment process, and it really is a savings for staff time. So we're excited about that. It's convenient for us, increases the accuracy of our transactions, and it's great for the tenants. Next, please. So can we do prepayments? No, we do have a different system for that. Partial payments, no, you have to do the full balance. If you have a balance, you have to pay it all. Is there an auto payment feature? That feature you'd have to work out with your bank. We don't have something that's in our tenant payment app that allows for an auto payment, but we'll certainly help you negotiate that with your bank and show the features. Most, or if not all banks, will allow you to designate a payee and set up automatic payments for the future. And then we have commercial and FBO tenant payments scheduled in the future, but not presently available. Okay, so the other options remain available. So you can arrange the auto pay, as I just mentioned. You can pay with a credit card in our office. You can come in and do that. If you don't use the tenant payment portal, you can still come in and transact your business as you have been. And then if you want to do prepayments, you come in and do that with us. Our staff is happy to work with you on that. So. That's it. See, 3Bs. We did it.
Nice.
You finished. Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Tehran, question. Mr. Nafi, we have some questions.
Councilmember Tron.
I will be the 3Bs as well. So just a quick question regarding credit card payments. And when someone elects to use this system or even come and pay in the office via credit card, are the fees assessed to that person and passed along to them, or is that something that is baked into the budget for the airports?
Well, that's two questions, two answers, I would say. For the first year, it's been waived. We've put that in the rent and fee that those charges are waived. The second year and beyond, there would be charges for that, and they're just passed along from the credit card transactions themselves. So we're working on maybe extending the forgiveness part because a lot of the benefits accrue to staff in our time. So we'd want to recognize that. So if I get my way, we'll keep it going. But at the present time, we're expecting to have to pass along charges.
Understood. And I know that within the city of Oxnard and other municipalities, actually other government entities that receive payment as accounts receivable, that has been an item of discussion regarding the passing along of credit card fees because on one level, some could say that are the taxpayers subsidizing that cost of running or being able to accept credit card payments from the general public, yet it's the taxpayers who are paying that and the customer who's passed that fee along. So it's an interesting discussion, but I was just wondering what our stance was on that. So I appreciate the information though.
It's a blend. Yeah,
It is.
it's a blend. But I recognize all the positions.
Thank you. That's my question.
And follow. I am of the tribe that feels if there's a charge from the credit card company for using a credit card, the person using the credit card pays for it. Not the agency that accepts the payment. So the rest of the taxpayers in the area.
Very good. And that policy can be reflected in when the rents and fees are considered by the supervisors.
Yes, so I know for some folks, the transition into new technology is sometimes somewhat challenging. And I'm wondering if you're implementing a plan where people can come in and you'll teach them how to, if they need help.
Yes, of course. We have some brochures that are available. We have online resources as well. And staff is right now working with our IT services to install a kiosk in our lobby. So if people want to come in and then learn about how to set up their accounts and get a little bit of staff time to help them get transitioned into the new system, we're happy to help them do that.
Cash payments. Okay, if we accept cash payments, I don't want to have a problem with that. Do we have a regular pickup of cash payments?
We have no public comments.
Okay, so we have a motion to receive and file.
For the Camarillo Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Martita Martinez Bravo, Chair Scott Bear. The motion passes unanimously.
So move.
Second, roll call.
For Oxnard Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Burt Perello, Councilmember Gabe Turan,
Yes.
and Chair Eugene Fussell.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay. I have misplaced myself in the agenda. Give me 1 second.
This is for receiving file status report.
Exactly. All that would start after the first of the year.
We do. Oh,
Oh, we have
I have a
Mr.
comment.
Perillo.
I listened to this presentation last night. I did a help job. And you gave an example of you asked for some people to come back and they only gave you half the people. With the return, with certified return receipt, someone is getting a return mail. Someone's getting a note in the box. If they're not home to sign it, come to the post office and pick it up. What is the time the post office will hold it? What if you put? Okay, that's if the person signed it. Okay, that's what I'm asking, because I comment, a suggestion, I think it's a good one, but it said, I think the chair said, then no one can complain. Come to Oxnard, you'll find people who complain. I'm proud of my city, but this idea is a pretty good idea, but I do believe, and as you said, you didn't say that, I don't believe you use the words, but you basically have to babysit them to put page 1 and page 2 and page 3, just don't send me, how much time and trouble is that for you? And if somebody does go on vacation, say you go on vacation, we fall through the crack and then somebody's going to be raising hell. And they, as I recall, speaking from Oxnard, some years ago, some of the people in this room were there. There was a council meeting. I've never been to a hot meeting like that in Camarillo in my life. And it was hot. I cannot see some of the same people if they feel that they've been slighted, not raising. It's been a long, you mentioned, a long process. It's been a lot of acrimony. I think it's a lot better now. And you said you found some things that were not surprised. Was there anything that was in your mind or the people that you mentioned last night? When you would take the meeting, there was not just yourself, but the staff. Did you find anything that made the facility unsafe that are potentially, if the hangars are next to each other, this potential hangar being unsafe could potentially cause a problem? Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Chairs, may I just gently remind folks to use the microphones? We did hear somebody from the public comment. They couldn't really hear the dialogue very well, so thank you.
we do have a public comment.
Hello, my name is Patricia Thomas, and I would like you to know that I have not been able to hear one single word that the presenter has said this entire time. And only one or two of the members of the authority are audible. So your sound system has its quirks, and this has been one tonight. Thank you for listening. That's all I wanted you to know. Good night.
Any other public comments?
There are no other comments.
Question? Well, this was just to receive and file the report, so I don't know that it changes anything. My suggestion is to go to the end of the year, but that'll be up to Director Freitas and his staff, I think.
Well, I'm certain that they put a lot of thought into this, and it's probably not an arbitrary date. So
I understand.
I've tended to go with their recommendation rather than doing the 30th of May. That might just throw things off. But that's just my 2 cents.
Mr. Nafi, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is this wasn't, this isn't a motion on the substance of the report. It's just whether we're going to receive and file the report. Is that correct?
Chair Barry, yes, that's true. Do my best to remain audible here. Yes, this was just a staff update on the process. Nothing was requesting any action from this body.
I'm on the record. I prefer to see this extend out to the end of the year, but with regard to the staff report, I move that we receive the file. Okay. Motion and a second. Can we get a roll call?
For Camarillo Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Martita Martinez Bravo, and Chair Scott Bear.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Okay, so Oxnard to receive and file the status report.
So move.
Been moved in second.
Second.
Been moved in second. Get a roll call.
For Oxnard Authority, Vice Chair Supervisor Vianney Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bert Perello,
Yes.
Councilmember Gabe Turan,
Yes.
and Chair Eugene Fussell. The motion passes unanimously.
Well, I guess I'll take either title. Thank you. With Keith sends his regards, wishes he could be here, but he's in a better spot, I'm sure. So I'll again follow the 3 Bs here. We have a few items to cover in the director's report, and I'm pleased to bring those to you. On July 26th of 2023, Oxnard Airport hosted the Oxnard Tabletop Exercise. This is an opportunity for our operations and maintenance team to interact with our public agencies that assist in emergency response at the airport. This is a federal requirement, FAA, for our Part 139 airport operating certificate. It was a very successful interaction, very very well received, and our team absolutely appreciates the response and the assistance we receive from our other agencies there in Oxnard that assist in our emergency response. Next, I would say that Congresswoman Julia Brownlee has had a couple of opportunities to visit in Ventura County airports in the last number of months. In July and August, she was here, and we're just thrilled to have her attention and her advocacy in her position on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. And she did provide us a statement, and I'll just read a little bit of that because it mentions our two airports. So I wanted to thank her for advocacy and read this out. So it says the FAA reauthorization bill also addresses the needs of our general aviation airports, including the Oxnard and Camarillo airports in Ventura County, and has important provisions to improve consumer protections, address aviation noise concerns, and advance the integration of unmanned aerial systems and urban air mobility in the national airspace. So she's obviously had a great opportunity to understand the issues that we have here looking forward, and is in a great position, and we appreciate her ability to assist us in some of the things that we're trying to accomplish here, especially in terms of preserving the airport pavements, which, as you know, is quite expensive from our prior presentations. So we wanted to commend her for that and appreciate her continued support. We had a couple of tours to mention for Supervisors Gorell and Parvin over the last couple of months, and we thank them and their teams who came and learned more about what we do here, which really helps everybody, we believe. We held a blood drive. Vitalant was able to come here and work with employees at the airport and take care of that awesome public service right here on the grounds. We participate in the County Ventura Career and Resource Expo, so people can learn about positions within Ventura County. All of the various agencies that are promoting careers within the county got together at the government center, and we participated and had a great interaction. We were able to promote 3 staff positions that we've added to our team, generate interest there. So we really enjoyed that opportunity and support this effort wholeheartedly. Oxnard Airport opened its parking lot for the artisan market a number of times over the summer, the last time being on August 5th. And we had over 22 vendors that were in our parking lot at the terminal, and that was a great success, and shines a spotlight on our facilities as well. Airport staff has been invited to speak to the Camarillo Neighborhood Association on October 12th. And so we completely support that. We're delighted to participate in their activities and learn more about what their concerns are and provide a deeper understanding about everybody's issues for the airport. Department has made an accessible link on vcairports.org right on our homepage. It's there, and can we bump that up? So the big red box there, that's an opportunity to comment on projects at the airport because of the fact that we are in the 500-year floodplain, which surprised me something like that actually exists. But so it is, and FAA has asked us to make public comment available for that standpoint. So that ends on the 23rd of September. During the Wings Over Camarillo Air Show, Colson, their helicopter, their main CH-47 Chinook helicopter, was repositioned over to Oxnard Airport. And we had a couple of great pictures, and we thank them for helping us out by remaining ready to serve their critical role in knocking down fires quickly with aerial assets, but also letting us do an air show. So that was very well appreciated, and we're just delighted to host them. They're just great people. And then last, I would end with the Cops and Choppers event, which is that happens at the airport. It's not our event, but we're delighted to shine a little bit of spotlight on that. That'll be on September 23rd. So with that, any questions you have, or I can finish my third beat. Thank you. Our fuel tanks are below ground. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any public comment on the director's report?
No public comments.
Yes, you may take action, bring questions to staff if you wish.
Any questions or comments on item number 8 that would?
No public comment.
No comments. Any public comments?
No public comment.
Yes, can you hear? Okay, so first of all, I know Mayor Santangelo could not be here and she sends her regrets. As you all know, she has an excused absence as of today. But her and I did talk. We received multiple, I think definitely over 100 emails to the city of Camarillo. And that is sometimes an issue. But this community also belongs to children who have a passion to want to fly a plane someday. And it belongs to our community members who are also passionate about flying and who feel pride in what they see and what they experience when they see our air show. So with that, I am confident that we will find a solution, that we will work with Mr. Thomas to find a solution that is adequate for everyone, including also our animals, which are at the animal shelter. So I know that Mayor San
Thank you, Chair. And I know we can't get into a discussion on this, but thank you, Dr. Martinez Bravo, for bringing that up. And I know Director Freitas is also aware of those concerns, and it's my understanding that he will be coming back to our authority at a future meeting to discuss that. And I hope that would also be an opportunity for Mr. Thomas to also be able to share a little bit more. I know your time was a little short today during public comment, but appreciate your efforts, Mr. Thomas, and keeping us informed, being here present on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to take a moment to thank our Department of Airports staff for the communication that has been going out to the public. Councilmember Perrello and I know, receive the media releases that go out, as well as updates that go out to the public. And so I wanted to thank all of the staff, especially Ms. Regi, for all the work on that. I have worked to, when things come out that are relevant to especially Oxnard Airport, I'll be sure to repost those and share them on social media. And I have had people who are very appreciative of the proactive information. So I just wanted to publicly thank staff for that, especially Ms. Haregi.
One other thing, the loud noises from the helicopters and the repositioning of the helicopters. I don't like social media. I don't like Facebook. I don't like Nextdoor. It's like a guerrilla warfare in the dark, somebody behind a keyboard, and I don't like people take snapshots and send it to me. One of the most clever and I thought most pointed comments were against the people that were complaining about the noise. And the comment was, and I think I can give it a quote, "Let's hope they make no noise when they need to come and rescue you if you're in danger." And I thought that was well put. There's a reason for that type of equipment. And to accommodate that type of equipment, the public has got to understand. Maybe notice could have been given a little earlier, but I appreciate everything that was done. And as far as the air show, I did not attend, but Mr. Thomas, that was when I was a little kid, the air show at Magoo was a big, big deal. And I've learned this from being on the city council in Oxnard. You're not going to make everybody happy. We try to make some happy, but you're not going to make everybody happy. And that was happy yesterday is going to be bad tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks to the staff.
Yeah, I want to make a comment. I did make the show, and I thought it was great, Bill. I think you guys did a great job. And I'll add on, Barb, I think you continue to do a good job. So I'm very happy with how we're progressing. And I'm sorry to hear about the 10 or so people who just can't get their act together, Madeline. So if anything I can do to help, give me a call. Thank you.
Our thanks to everybody. Appreciate it.
You almost got hold of it.